Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the January 25th, 2016 meeting of the BUHS number 6 board. We have quite a contingent of visitors. I would have to say, I can't remember having this many. That's wonderful. And, well, except maybe when we talked about having to eliminate hockey or something like that.
That's the one I was thinking of too.
But we do have some visitors who we will put up right next to the top of the program. And I'm not even going to try to name all the names. And we have some students here, I believe, and some parents. So we'll let the teacher leaders introduce the rest of their folks. But we will start, as we normally do, with the approval of the minutes. And we would be approving the minutes of January 4th.
I'll move the minutes of the meeting of January 4th as presented.
Ricky? Second, Mike, okay. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes of January 4th, 2016, please signify by saying aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed or abstentions?
Abstention.
Gloria, abstention too. And Russ, abstention. Okay. All right. Minutes of January 4th are approved. Communications. Are there any communications? Okay.
I just want to take a minute to apologize to the board and to the administrators and to the people who elected me to be on this board. I've been absent from my role as a representative from Brattleboro for a period of time, and I did have an untimely death in my family, and that's the reason, but I do apologize for not being here.
Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, anything else for the clerk's report? If not, we will move on to recognition of groups and or individual visitors. We have some representatives from the foreign language program first, and then we will have right after that, we'll have a presentation from middle school. So we can start. There's Maggie and Judy, and you have another visitor guest, if you would introduce. Yeah.
So we'd like to start by introducing to you Rolando Rivera. You know that every 2 years we have a program with Costa Rica, and up until now it has been one way. We've taken students to a partner elementary school, but this year we have our first real exchange with the Colegio Técnico of Cartago, and our guests came 2 days ago. Rolando is one of the 3 leaders accompanying 10 students, and Rolando is staying with me. And when I told him I was coming before the board, he said he would be interested in seeing how this all works. So he's here. So
it is a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you very much, and hello everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. We are here as BUHS district residents and retired teachers. Together, we spent 66 years teaching French, Spanish, German, and introduction to world languages in both BAMS and in the high school. We're happy that the BUHS board has always supported the district's modern language program, which has earned a stellar reputation in Vermont and beyond.
no one asked us to come before you. We really felt impelled to come to express our deep concern about the planned elimination of a part-time French position in bands. Specifically, we would like to request that the board consider reinstating funding for the .25 French position in bands.
This part-time position small and inexpensive as it is a crucial part of a fully integrated language program in Brattleboro elementary schools, BAMS, and in the high school. Many students come to BAMS already having learned some French in the Brattleboro district or elsewhere. BAMS courses allow those students to progress and others to start learning French with a richly experienced teacher, developing the language proficiency the state standards require. Then, in the BUHS program, those students can progress to the advanced level, where they can earn 6 college credits before graduating.
BAMS has been lucky to have this particular teacher with her near-native language, previous experience in France, and excellent relationships with students. She has 96 students this year in a .25 position that pays no benefits and pays for no preparation time. We've been involved, Judy and I, in hiring many language teachers over the years, and we think that eliminating this valuable teacher, who could easily find another job and would be nearly impossible to replace, is a false economy.
Furthermore, her 96 students who have chosen to learn French would have to be absorbed in other classes. It would obviously be very difficult and a hardship for Kurt Johnson to add French classes, as he already has 144 students, more than almost anyone else at BAMS, and currently teaches German in the 8th grade, Spanish in 7th and 8th grade, and Introduction to World Languages, and he has an advisory.
BAMS and BUHS are schools of choice for many families in our area who could send their children to other private or public schools. We know anecdotally that for some families, the strong language program is a big factor in their choice. We believe that this position is vital to this program.
We recognize and appreciate that the board always works hard to present an affordable budget to district voters. In previous years, the board has already reduced and eliminated language teaching positions in response to changes in enrollment. We think that for the less than $12,000 for this position, the district is getting a bargain for its students. We therefore request that you look for the savings elsewhere in the budget to offset reinstating this position.
If the board can't find the funds in the budget that you are presenting at the annual meeting, we are planning to make a motion from the floor to add the sum of $12,000 to the budget. While we recognize that if that motion passes, voters cannot legally direct the board to make specific expenditures, we hope that you would hear district voters and hear that they value a strong French program and are willing to spend $12,000 to support it. And we thank you very much for your attention, and I have hard copies that I'll just hand to you all.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and we are listening. As everybody knows, it's a particularly challenging budget year with the limitations that are being placed on us, and also the fact that the rules seem to change periodically, and the numbers from the state have been subject to some variation, so we have a moving target to face. But we appreciate your taking the time to bring that concern to us, and we will take it under advisement and take a look. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we have some middle school folks here, and I won't even make an attempt to introduce everybody because I don't know some of them, but perhaps you would do that, and we're going to hear from Keith and his group.
All right, hi everyone. So I want to, for the seating tonight, we have a group of students and staff who are here tonight as part of our, just doing some informational sessions for the board about some of the things that we're doing in our schools. And we're pretty excited about some of the work that we're doing at BAMS, in particular in relation to Act 77 and personalized learning plans. And you've heard me talk about it quite a bit. We did a presentation at Guilford a few months ago, and they seem to really appreciate hearing more about them and seeing them. So I've recruited a different set of students and staff this evening to present their work with PLPs. And to begin, I want to just introduce the people who are here from the school. I'll start on our left. She's a new teacher this year to BAMS, English Language Arts, Gabriella Raccio.
Hi, everyone.
And then we have we have Ruby Stone here with her family. Ruby's going to show us her PLP this evening. And we have Kim Amadon here, both 7th graders in Miss Raccio's class, correct?
Yes, my advisor. Yep.
And I wanted to introduce Peg Maxfield, who's also a teacher on the team helping, and she's also carrying out PLPs with her advisory. And I've talked a lot about the Tarrant Institute for Innovative Education, and our professional development coordinator, right? That's your official position, is Rachel Mark. So I'm going to introduce Rachel briefly.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Rachel Mark. I work for the University of Vermont, the Tarrant Institute for Innovative Education. And as Keith said, I'm the professional development coordinator that's been partnered with BAMS. We started our work together this June when I believe 18 staff and administrators from BAMS attended the Middle Grades Institute and began their work with me to kind of transform the teaching and learning at Brattleboro. So I've really enjoyed working with them, and this is my first board meeting to attend in this position, so thanks for having me here. The teachers are going to share, and kids are going to share work around personal learning plans, which is part of Act 77. I think that a handout was passed around. Act 77 was passed by Vermont legislature in 2013. The ultimate implementation of Act 77 happens in the 2018 to 19 school year, when all students in grades 7 through 12 will have personalized learning plans in Vermont. At the current phase of implementation, students in grades 7 and 9 have personal learning plans. Most schools are choosing to sort of implement that if there are 7, 8 at both grade levels, as BAMS has done. Students in grades 7 and 8 for the first year here at BAMS have personal learning plans. So I'm going to leave it to Gabby and kids, but please feel free to ask us some questions right now.
Okay. So you want to come up?
So good evening. Thank you so much for having us. Again, my name is Gabriella Raccio. I am a first-year teacher, first year at BAMS. I teach English, and Kim and Ruby are two fantastic students, both in my English classes and in my advisory. We have been working on our personalized learning plans since probably October now. It started in English class where we worked on our biographies. We took that as a writing assignment, the English department, and students really got to learn about the process of writing a biography, how to kind of map their lives out chronologically and pick out really important parts of their lives to show off. And now the PLPs have really found their home in advisories. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we work on them, we open up the Chromebooks and we start looking at our goals. That's really what we're focusing on right now. And what I'm really loving about these goals is that it opens authentic conversation. I get to talk to Ruby and Kim and my other advisees every day about my goals and how they're going. I get to hear about their goals. And what I like about it is I could stand in front of them and I can say, this is something that actually is a part of the real world, setting goals and accomplishing them or figuring out how you have to change them. And I feel really confident when I say that to them because I know it's true. I can stand in front of a group and say, you might use MLA citation in college, you probably will if you go that route, or if you know, there are some things that, it depends on what route you take in life, but when it comes to goal setting and having a clear vision, that's something that's applicable to anyone's life at any point, and this is the time in their lives where it's time to start thinking about that. So I set my goal, I have a Fitbit, these kids know about it, I get really excited. And my goal is to get 10,000 steps a day, at least 4 out of the 7 days of the week. My original goal was to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I failed. So we talked about how I failed at that and why, and I reflected in front of them about, you know, it's not realistic because in the morning I want to drink coffee with my cat and hang out. I don't want to go to the gym. It's just not fitting into my life, but this fits in more because I can do this all day long. And so they see me reflecting on my goals, and then I get to hear their reflections. So I'm going to stop talking and invite Kim and Ruby up to show their PLPs. Kim, do you want to come up first? You'll see differences in the PLPs, and that really shows that even though we are going through this process together, they are at different steps in the process depending on if they've met their goals, if they haven't met their goals. So this is Kim's biography. Kim, do you want to talk about, you came to the parent night, right? Do you want to talk about showing this biography to your family?
Okay, so basically we came to the school and we just kind of read aloud our biographies, and our parents kind of listened to that to see just what we thought so far in our life was really important, just what events and what things they've done for us that we thought were really valuable. And they got to kind of hear how we're doing and just see what we're kind of getting really interested in and just different things about our life that we want to share with them that we might not share with them otherwise. So it kind of helps bring together parents and kids, I guess.
And for some reason the formatting's off on the projector, but obviously there's more text there that's not showing. Every student is currently in the process, at least in my advisory, of personalizing the backgrounds. Kim has a selfie. If you can't, you only see half of her face, but the students have selfies because that's important to them. And do you want to show your taggle?
So this is the taggle, and what we did is we picked from 60 to about 100 words that we thought described us and different things that we were interested in, and then we put them on a website, and we chose an image that we thought was either really cool or just something that reflected about us, and then it formats the words so that it's a really artistic showing of different aspects of your life.
Do you want to click on it so that it expands?
Oh, it does.
Yeah, and you can even zoom in if you click on a word. I think it zooms into it even more. Yeah. So these are something that came out of an English assignment called the word selfie, which was the very first thing we did, and it was able to basically, it was something on a piece of paper that they drew, and it eventually became digital, and it's really telling to look at these words and to try to think, how are zip lines important to Kim? I wonder what she did with the zip line. So that's something that every student in Team Canis incorporated into their PLPs. All right, do you want to click on the back button? Left. Okay. All right, and something that we are working on is the goals page. And this is where you'll see the biggest difference between Ruby's and Kim's. They have what's called SMART goals, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Students have a personal and a communication goal. Do you want to explain your two goals?
Okay. Well, right now my personal goal is to get one of my Young Writers Project short stories into the Brattleboro Reformer. And it also kind of ties into just being better at writing and close reading, just to perfect those skills as best as possible. I think measurable, like I've achieved this when I feel confident in my writing enough to publish it. And if or when I get my story in the paper, that's not really the purpose of my goal, but that would be really cool. To achieve this, I really need to work at my writing skills, just proofreading, and I obviously, if I want it published, I have to put it on the Vermont website. It's relevant because I think writing is really important in schoolwork, but also just being a better speaker and a better just communicator. And so I think that's really important. And I want to get this done by probably the end of the year. I want to have the story printed, but I think that I'll always be working towards writing.
So that's her personal goal. And then the communication goals are more geared towards academics. Kim's personal goal is also geared towards academics, because that's just the type of gal she is. So the communication goals have to do with linked to the Vermont transferable skills of communication. So I will have, thank you so much, Kim. That was wonderful. I'm gonna have Ruby come up and show you her communication goal and her biography, if I could find where it went. I'm just gonna have to pull it up because I'm not sure where it went. What is happening? Of course I'm having a technical glitch. There it is. All right, so do you want to show your taggle?
Okay, well, this is my taggle, and I kind of wasn't sure what picture to choose, but I ended up choosing this one because I liked all of the colors and the way they kind of blended into my personality, I think, a little bit. And I just kind of like read about things that were important to me also. And I wrote about my family and my friends and things that I like to do and things that I enjoy.
So it's just, for a teacher, it's a really unique way to see students' personalities come out in multiple forms. You get to see the art that they choose, the words they choose, the way they decide to kind of lay it out. It's pretty revealing because this is one of the first things we do when I meet them. So it's really fun to see this now that I know them even more. If you click that back button, and as you can see, Ruby's is laid out differently than Kim's. Her selfie's at the top. She has a different background. Do you mind clicking on your goals for us? And Ruby is now at a point where she is putting evidence into her PLP to show that she's meeting her goals. Do you want to, it doesn't matter if you choose your personal goal or communication goal, either one. Do you want to explain one of your goals and talk about the evidence? Maybe the communication goal, since we heard Kim's personal.
All right, well, my communication goal is that I want to raise my hand in class, even if I'm not 100% sure of the answer, because I feel like sometimes I would I would kind of think I know the answer, and then I wouldn't raise my hand because I don't want to. I don't know, but I wouldn't raise my hand, and then I would end up being right. And I felt like I wanted to work towards that more to be more confident in the answers that I know. But so I've been it's specific, and I will know it's measurable, and I know that I've been successful, and I've raised my hand at least 10 times, that being included should be the answer. And I kept track of this on a note card in my binder, and every time I did, I would take a tally. And sustainable, to succeed, I will need to raise my hand every time I have a theory or idea. Relevant, because my goal matches other goals in my life, because it will help me gain more information working towards my goal of straight A's. And it's timely, and it should be accomplished by February of this year. And so far I have 8 tallies, and I've been working towards that. And I think I'm pretty sure I'll be able to complete my goal by February.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Ruby. So you're all set, you must sit down, Pam. Thank you. So as you can see, she has this evidence. She's hoping to get some A+, which she's definitely achieving. She took a screenshot of her Power School grades. Some students are putting in actual writing samples. It really depends on the goal. Some students are putting in videos if something is to get 10 free throws in a row or something like that. But again, these PLPs really show that the students are both working towards goals. They're collecting evidence. They're at different steps, whether the evidence is actually in the PLP or it's in a folder. I know Kim has some evidence in a folder in her drive right now. It's really been a pleasure to work with the students on this because, again, it really opens up genuine, authentic conversation with them about life, and I feel like I get to connect with them in a way I don't get to connect with them in English class. So that's really what I love about this process, and it's been a pleasure presenting for you. And thank you both very much. You did a wonderful job.
I think we wanted to give the opportunity for the board to ask any questions of the students or of Ms. Braccio or anybody. Is there any questions? Yeah.
Sure, if I could ask Kim and Ruby, because you're in 7th grade, is that right? So you've been around the block a while. Is this the first time you've done this sort of PLP of putting these things? Because you've thought about who you are and what you want to do. Has it been helping you at all by actually doing it, whether it's an assignment or whatever, that you're actually putting it on? Is it making you think differently about where you want to go and what you want to do and learning about yourself than before? A long question, but has the process of creating these spaces online changed you at all and changed the way you look at your education?
Well, for me, I think that before this, I've kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do in my head, but it's all kind of been jumbled around with all the other things that I really want to do. And I think writing it down and actually making progress towards the goal was really helpful to me. And I think it has shaped me more as a person, as to try to achieve these goals. And I think it's really
I think it has been really helpful because I think you can have a goal in your mind and try to work towards it, but physically putting something on a document or on your PLP just helps kind of remind you of that goal so you don't forget, or so it doesn't just kind of become less important.
That's great. I'm a college teacher, so I mean, it's that sort of organization. I mean, I wish my kids would have more of that sometimes. I mean, some do and some don't, but to be able to think and look ahead and organize is really important. And then it's important, beyond as well. I mean, the skills you'll learn by doing that will help you, as you leave school and have careers and move on. Thank you.
Did they get extra credit for presenting to the board?
They didn't. I'll think about something though. Maybe breakfast and advisory next week.
It
was great for them.
Question or comment? I was wondering if it was hard for you guys to come up with your goals in the first place. Or did you have ideas already?
Well, I think that it was a little bit challenging to think of goals. I mean, it was a lot easier for me to come up with academic goals than extracurricular goals, because I don't know, I mean, focusing on school is a big part of my life, but I think that the goals were very good, and I think it was kind of easy for me to think of.
I think it was mostly really easy to come up with them, but it was a little bit challenging just thinking about because there are a lot of different things that I want to achieve, so it's just kind of picking one of those and staying towards it. Because I changed my personal goal several times before I settled on the Young Writers Project, so.
I think one of the things we've learned is that many young adolescents don't automatically know how to set goals, and so I think some people do have that innate ability, but the teachers are really doing a lot of deliberate instruction with kids about how do you set goals and what is a good goal. So that's probably a credit to their effectiveness.
It was one of the things that the 8th grade students spoke about was the learning process around the PLPs and learning how to set goals. They've dealt with goals for most of their lives, but now all of a sudden it was, what's the evidence? That accountability piece that was coming in, and then how to refine a goal. And that was something that when I said, I'm going to go to this board meeting, what do you want me to tell them? I said that was really part of the process that they really appreciated. That and the individuality of it, and you certainly saw that in Ruby and Kim's presentations, but the kids have certainly enjoyed that. Probably one of the pieces I've enjoyed most, and the kids too, is the tech that's embedded in all of it. And so we had a huge win the other day in advisory when we were able to insert a clip of one of my advisees riding her horse and meeting her goal. So it took a little bit, but we got there.
Just wanted to, I did want to, before we close up and move on, I wanted to thank the students and their parents and siblings for coming and supporting them. You guys both did a wonderful job presenting. Thank you. And also to the staff for coming. I did want to add one more piece that all of this ties in. We're talking about communication goals. These are the transferable skills that Mr. Perrin speaks about all the time in his reports and that we speak about administratively quite a bit. So our next task is to take the next transferable skill that we'll figure out which skill that is in teams and start writing new goals based on a new skill. And hopefully eventually these PLPs become the centerpiece of conferences, that it's student-led conferences where they're showing that kind of stuff, and these two are kind of exemplars of that. So thank you, girls, for coming tonight. And any last questions for our students or teachers that are here? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that the clerk on the floor?
Right, yeah, or you can pass them along. Okay. Everybody go on break here.
We have a couple of the students.
Okay. Going to get back shortly, but let's keep moving along, and we'll move to consent agenda. Is there?
Hey, Bob, I just have one quick question on the first group we heard. Isn't it actually too late for that conversation anyways? Because we've already approved the budget.
Well, essentially, the budget has gone to print.
Yeah, so
to speak.
So even if
However,
we wanted to entertain what they were asking us to, it's too late for us to do anything about it until the meeting, because it's already out there.
Well, well, for one thing is that it is proper procedure if that a motion can be made to amend the budget. They are correct in that they can't amend the budget to direct the board to use X number of dollars for a particular program, but there can be an amendment to the total amount. One thing that I'd like to see, and I don't know if we have those numbers, is how the cap has been affected, and I don't know if anybody here knows that yet. I haven't had a chance to speak to Frank by this notification last week from the state that the numbers were off a little bit on the allowable growth, and because we were very, very, very close to that number. Like, as I recall, within a few $1,000s, yeah.
Less than 5,000,
Yeah,
is like.
of that allowable growth number, but that might have changed slightly.
But the budget is a number, correct?
Right.
So you could always eliminate something and eliminate 12,000 somewhere and put 12,000 there if you can find a place to.
Then you have the next group coming up.
Well, administrators do have certainly leeway within a particular budget, and as the budget plays out during the course of the year, you know, there was a lot of thought that went into that, and you know, this year we are starting to have a little more painful decisions that are being made, but. I, for one, appreciate the fact that there is concern out there, and We don't want to just cast it aside. We certainly will discuss it further, and it will be interesting to see as all this plays out. I don't believe our plan would be to necessarily, if we find out that our allowable growth limit is going up X number of dollars, that we're automatically going to say, oh, well, let's put that amount back in. Decisions that were made based on good judgment and on our student count. So, but they certainly make a good point about the effectiveness of that amount of money.
I did want to add one thing, if I may. They mentioned specifically French and a specific employee, and I think that's getting ahead of the, that who is affected. There's a process that has to happen. Right. And also, there is a 0.25 person who teaches French, but it doesn't mean that there would be an elimination of French. I just want to make sure people understand that we have a 1.0 position, and how we fill that within the people we have and the curriculum that we decide to move forward with is all up for discussion. So I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like this, oh, French is being eliminated in middle school, because that isn't the case.
N'est-ce pas?
Sorry, that's all I needed to say that.
Okay, thank you for that comment. So we're back to a motion for consent agenda, to go into consent agenda.
I move we go to consent agenda.
Second by Sean. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? If not, we are in consent agenda, and as is our norm, we will start with finance.
Okay. The thing I have says that we met on Wednesday the 13th.
Which we did.
Okay, well, I guess that's right then. My notes say otherwise, but I don't pay attention to that. And we approved warrant numbers 1099, 1102, 1103, 1104, 1106, 1107, 1108 in the amount of $426,730.69. And we also approved warrants from 4th of January, 1109, 1110, 1111, 1112, 1113, 1114, 1115, in the amount of $500,084.85. And we approved payrolls of December 11th, the amount of $427,783.36, and payrolls of December 23rd in the amount of $438,879.68. We also awarded a bid to Monadnock Company, the amount of $20,990 for a security camera project. And our next meeting will be this Thursday, the 28th of January at 8 a.m. at the James Kane Conference Room, 53 Green Street.
Okay, I would just point out that the camera security project was part of our plan for this year, and we reviewed three bidders, and this one was unanimously by the committee, and the recommendation of administration awarded to Monadnock for work that will happen right now.
Hopefully by February break.
By February break, yep. Okay,
Mike just brought up the question, that the finance meeting was not warned on this.
well, as of this morning, Barb emailed me because I guess she had not had a chance to catch up with Frank, but we are still within that time frame. So Barb is
So we'll
aware
have
that it
a
needs to
meeting?
be warned, yeah. It was, Ruth, you might have had a different date down for the prior one because we moved to a Wednesday from a Thursday because of.
Oh, okay.
Both Frank and myself were unable to attend, so that's why it was the 13th instead of the originally planned 14th. But this one will indeed be on a Thursday, this Thursday, and it should be warned by tomorrow morning, which will be 48 hours notice. How about WSESU finance?
Finance, we have not met, and I'm not sure, I sent Frank an email asking when the next meeting is, and that has not been set yet.
Okay. Planning and policy.
Has not met. We have some policies up for adoption in unfinished business. Get to those when it's done.
Okay, thank you. Teacher curriculum.
TCC met earlier this evening, and we got a report from Mr. Perrin in relation to student attendance, and we'd had some conversations, some teachers and things had come forward talking about specifically student athletes, but I think it's any student really that's missing class time for a school-sponsored event, and sort of the ways in which the school is starting to address that, including a letter that went home to parents earlier this month. So we reviewed that letter with Mr. Perrin and talked about that process and where things may look in the future, schedule-wise, things like that. We also got a presentation in relation to proficiency, and kind of got a preview of what Mr. Perrin is going to present to current 8th grade parents on Wednesday evening of this week, so that as they come into the high school next year, what they can look forward to in relation to proficiency-based grading and education. And it kind of ties into the PLP process that we got a presentation about earlier this evening, so kind of all dovetails together. That's great.
Could you just, either you or Steve, give us an idea a little bit of the gist of the letter to parents?
Sure.
The key points were.
Do you want to? Go ahead. So, the letter kind of details two areas. One area is that we have a lot of students who miss class time for various extracurricular or co-curricular activities, whether it's a sporting event, band, whatever. There's a lot of reasons kids miss classes. And the other area is with activity day, which is a time during the day when students actually meet with advisors to have club meetings. And again, they're missing school for that, or missing class time for that. So as we had conversations with students and teachers and other administrators, we came to realize that really the issue that we're looking at is the idea of helping students understand how to learn to make choices and how to decide, what's more important for me today. Is it this game, or is it this grade that's dropping? What do I need to focus on? What do I need to prioritize? And that's a lot of what the letter talks about, is the idea that, we all make choices in our professional and personal lives, and this is one area where students do need to make choices. And they may not always choose to attend that game or that performance because school does have to come first. Along those lines, a new policy beginning this semester for co-curricular activities is that if a student is failing a course, they are not permitted to leave to go on that away game. They need to stay and they cannot leave that course if they're failing that course.
That's new.
That's new this year, yes. So we're saying, like for example, if you have a I hate to use sports, but I will. If you have a basketball game and you're leaving school at 2:30 and you're going to miss your block 4 class, but you're not passing that block 4 class, we're saying, school comes first. You need to stay and do your course, and you have to focus on academics. Same policy for activity day. We're saying that if a student is failing the course and let's say it's chess club and it's meeting during block 2, but you're failing your block 2 class, you really don't have permission to go to that. You need to stay in your class. So, and we had a lot of conversation as a faculty and among students, saying passing is really setting a bar very low. Down the road, we'd like to increase that, but for now, it's the first step of a cultural shift, and so we thought we'd start with a pretty black and white. You're either passing or you're not. So.
Well, we have had concerns expressed to us as a board about the missing of classes, and it's great to hear it's being addressed, and particularly part of it is being self-discipline for the students, not just administrators and parents coming down on them and saying, you got to do this, but to think through, what's the priority for today.
And part of the letter details, when we sat down with students, we said to students that are successful, what advice would you give us? What advice would you give your peers? And they gave a lot of great advice, look at your teacher's online agenda, talk to your teacher before, talk to your coach, use ACE period, make an appointment after school. And so we include all of those things in the letters, concrete tips that they can use to not fall behind.
Great. Thank you. That it for teacher curriculum?
That's it for teachers.
Okay. BAMS committee?
BAMS committee met this morning, 8 a.m., and we got an update on some of the training that's going on related to ALICE, which is the new security response to having to deal with an intruder or other issue within the building, and some of the training that's going on with the staff and how it's going to get rolled out to students. We also got sort of an update on end of first semester, change over to the new semester, and also some professional development, upcoming professional development stuff that the faculty is going to be working on. And we also heard that they've been having some issues with accidental dropping of Chromebooks. So one of the things that just recently got purchased by Mr. Lemon was bags for the students to carry them, so that hopefully they're not getting dropped and they have a little bit of cushion if they do get dropped. So we will have less issues related to that. And also, we got a little bit of an update on the follow-up from the Summer Leadership Institute that Dr. Staley does in the summer up at SIT, and they had a follow-up this past week with those students that went in the summer, and they got a follow-up too. So we got a lot of great information about what's happening at the middle school.
There's a prize for anybody on the board that can say what the acronym ALICE, what that stands for. We've heard it 2 or 3
And
times
he told us
now.
this morning too.
Would you care to repeat it, just so it appears that nobody has totally absorbed it
He's
yet?
pretty excited about this.
I am. Alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate.
Counter was the one I couldn't come up with.
Excellent. That's it for us.
Okay, thank you. WRCC has not met, I don't
No,
believe.
WRCC does not know.
Okay, anything other for consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to accept consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Ricky?
Second.
And second, Lori? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Consent agenda is accepted, and we move on to administrative reports. And, let's see, let's start with WRCC.
Thanks, Robert. So, I just want to report out on the Vermont Food Bank distribution has been going on now for about a month and a half out in front of the middle school bus loop, the first Monday and the third Monday of every month. And it's available for any families that have students within the SU. And it's many families are taking advantage of this great resource, which is nice to see. And it starts at 10 a.m. and it goes till 11, and there's a strand of cars coming in throughout the whole time, which is nice.
10 and 11 Monday, did you say?
Monday, the first Monday
First
and the
Monday.
third Monday. So our student ambassadors for WRCC group will be beginning our student tours of our sending school sophomores beginning in February. And these students are led by Betsy Gentili. And they have a vested interest of our programs and are really excited to share their experiences of the programs that they enjoyed taking at the Career Center. So it's always nice to see their enthusiasm and share their experiences with our sending school sophomores to get them excited about hopefully coming to the Career Center in the high school as well. Our forestry class will be traveling to Essex Junction this week on the 27th for their annual FFA winter contest. And the competition consists of 4 components: identifying local trees by bark and bud, identifying samples of both native and non-native pests, either by themselves or viewing the damage done to trees, grading various samples of maple syrup, and completing a written exam on Christmas and maple tree production and on insects and pests. So good luck to these students this week. Our Hideaway restaurant is open. Just a reminder, I've mentioned this before. We're seeing a lot more community members and teachers and staff join us, which is really nice to see. So I invite all of you, if you have a chance, it's open every Friday from 11:25 to 12:45. And there's usually a set menu every week as well. Check it, it's on our website every Monday or Tuesday.
Do you need reservations?
It's good to make reservations if you want to get a seat.
And I just want to say I had lunch there. I had a meeting and we had lunch there after our meeting 2 Fridays ago, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful lunch, well done. The atmosphere was great, and the students did a really great job, I thought, of serving us and making sure that we were taken care of and had everything that we needed and wanted and things like that. They did a really great job.
Do you make reservations online, or do you call?
You can contact Chef Warner or Fernandez with their email address. It's on the website. Yes, the students are learning some great real-world skills serving individuals they don't know, which is nice. This Friday will be our first tech night, Fun Friday. And we've changed the time frame to start at 3:30, so the kids aren't hanging out for a half hour. It was previously stated at 4, and it goes 2 hours to 5:30, and we still have a lot of openings available to fill. So if you know of any 7th, 8th, or 9th grader, please let them know and their parents know. And please contact Jana Krass, our coordinator here at the Career Center. And the title is Woodworking Skills, Construction Skills. It should be a fun event for middle school age students. And our construction teacher, Bob Simeon, will be facilitating that evening. And we're hoping to have one per month within a different program at the Career Center. Try to expose the Career Center to our younger population.
Michael,
yes.
Have you let the 7th and 8th grades in the outlying towns know about this?
Not yet. We're about to this week.
Okay.
Yep. Question.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Yep. Have no student council tonight, yes. How about UHS?
Sure, thanks. So tomorrow we kick off the second semester. It's hard to believe we're halfway through the school year. And I have to give thanks to the teaching staff. You know, they do this, they begin first semester after having 2.5 days of in-service, but they do second semester with 1 day of in-service. And so the turnaround time to grade the previous semester, prepare things for the upcoming semester, and to launch that is pretty intense. And so I want to thank the staff for everything they're doing. It's not an easy thing to kind of switch gears that quickly, but they do it with grace and they do it with style. So I'm proud that they're here. We are administering the Smarter Balanced Assessments, and this year I'm not going to ask the board to take it. We're gonna, last year, the test window goes from March to late May. And last year, we chose to do it in April, and that was pretty ill-advised. We bumped into spring sports schedules, BUHS trips abroad, and then the week after we got back from April break, began AP exams. So we're gonna go another direction, and we're gonna do the SBAC testing on March 22nd and March 23rd. So we're gonna go early in the window. We're gonna try something new this year. We are going to release students in grades 9, 10, and 12 at 11:30 on those days. We're going to feed the junior class lunch, and then we're gonna start the testing. We've tried to do it in Block 2 for several years, back when it was the NSREs and back when it was the kneecaps. And frankly, it's been more chaos and hasn't really been good either for the classes that are continuing or for the students trying to do testing. So we thought we would try something a little different this year. So we're going to try and see what happens if we just keep juniors here and do the testing on those 2 days. We're hoping that certainly helps create an environment where we'll have every teacher have 2 or 3 students rather than having one teacher proctoring 30 students they don't know. So we're hoping to create a more positive environment for testing. And of course, I'm sure you'll hear about it if it doesn't work. This Wednesday, we're welcoming our 8th grade parents. It would be the class of 2020. We'll welcome them in the gymnasium or in the auditorium at 6:30. And TCC got a preview of part of the presentation. Department heads will offer tours. We'll do a quick introduction to the staff here. And it's usually a nice event for 8th grade parents who are a lot of times as nervous as their children are. And being an 8th grade parent this year myself, I am pretty nervous. Then on February 8th at 6:30, we're doing a scheduling meeting. And we started doing this 3 years ago, and each year it's gotten more and more successful. And at that scheduling meeting, it's for students and their parents in grades 8 through 11. It's a chance for a parent and their child to come in and talk directly to the counselor about the schedule for next year. They do some small groups. Counselors talk in small groups about options for students, and then they have a chance to meet with their counselor and talk about their own child's schedule. And again, that's 6:30 on February 8th. So if they can be there, that would be great. On to ALICE trainings. Anybody know what ALICE stands for?
Yes, I do.
Lockdown.
Inform, lockdown, evacuate.
Counter and evacuate.
Counter. Well, we started at A, so when she started at C.
So we're continuing our training. At this point, we've really trained the staff in ALICE. We've done a large group training. We've done small group training in classrooms. So we're going to turn our attention this week and next week to beginning to train the students. We've informed parents, let them know about the change, let them know what ALICE is. We talked about it in some newsletter, and we've also sent home a letter kind of detailing what we're doing. So we'll begin the training late this week and early next week, meeting with students as grades. And then throughout the month in February, we'll take a hallway at a time and kind of train groups of students and their teachers at the same time. We anticipate that the training will take about 40 minutes. Certainly, we still have a lockdown procedure, but this kind of adds enhancements and options to that lockdown procedure. And we're hoping by the end of the year to do a full campus modified lockdown drill. But this is the next step along the way. And I want to acknowledge the work that Chris Day has done. He's Assistant Principal Chris Day has been the face of this really for the whole district. He's done it. He's done trainings in BAMS at the Career Center. He's gone to Guilford. He's gone to Oak Grove. I believe he's gone to Putney and Dumbarton as well. And so he's doing a phenomenal job of introducing staff to this. And so I just want to acknowledge the hard work that Chris is doing. So, and he'll continue to do. Finally, I am reluctant, but I have to do this. I have a resignation to present to the board. And I'm sad to report that our art department chair, Liz Denord, is choosing to retire at the end of this year. Liz has been here as part of the district teaching staff for 23 years. You may recall Liz took over as department head after Gary Blondgren passed away, and she stepped into a very difficult situation. She handled it with grace and with style, and her leadership has had the art department continue to be an integral part of the larger community. Liz has also been active in her own work as an artist, and has also been an active part of the Governor's Institute here at the high school. We'll begin to look for a replacement for Liz in February after the annual meeting, but I just want to acknowledge her body of work here and her leadership, not only within her department, but in the whole school. It's certainly a blow to lose Liz, but we wish her well. She's got great plans for the next phase, so I would ask the board to accept her resignation.
Is there a motion accordingly?
I move that we accept Liz Denord's resignation with great regret.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, some of
Thank
us
you.
might like to be opposed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we accept it with regret. And we have another one when it gets to be my point to discuss. Okay, so dams.
Yeah, thanks. I'm only going to add a couple things.
Didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, you covered almost all of it. I just wanted to, I got some music updates today from Mr. Nishaka. A couple things. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, is this Southeast Vermont Music Festival, and it's the middle school concert band. So we had 9 students at BAMS get accepted. 3 of them had top scores in their respective instrument section, and one of them was Kim Ammonen, who was here earlier, and then Sam Friedis Egan, who's Julian Egan's son, is one of our students, and Sebastian Paquette, all at top scores. So that was pretty exciting, and he's proud of that. We're all proud of that. I also wanted to say that Mr. Nishaka was selected to present at the Michigan Music Conference, and he ran 2 sessions that were packed both times, and he was really kind of showcasing what he's done at BAMS with empowering student creativity using one-to-one music technology, and it's really focused on our Chromebooks, Chromebook-based one-to-one model as part of his presentation. So he was pretty excited. He was pretty honored to be selected for that, and he traveled out and presented this last weekend. So just wanted to congratulate him on being a leader in that area. And that's really it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have no central office report, and that brings it down to the board chair. And I have a resignation letter here too. I probably could have done it under Michael's report, but it was passed along to me from central office today. And this is from Doug Bramble. And it says, letters to inform the district of my intention to retire from my position at the end of the 2015-2016 school year. Once again, I don't know the numbers, but I know Doug has been here for quite some time. 34 years. Teaching architecture, design, that
CAD era.
CAD, yeah. And he's been a real valuable addition to the staff, but he's decided that it's time to move on to another stage of his life. So, is there a motion accordingly?
I move that we accept the resignation of Doug Bramble with regret.
Okay,
Second.
Second, all right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have accepted that. The only other thing I have, and is regarding the budget public hearing, which is part of the process. And I kind of probably slid over that back when we were talking about our February schedule. But we do need to have an opportunity for public comment on the budget prior to the meeting, which will mean that we will be planning to do that on the 1st, which is next Monday at 6:30. And I apologize for the fact that it was kind of glossed over or omitted in our budget preparation discussions. I believe it is on the budget planning calendar that we got way back, and so basically that would be a preview, a review of the budget and opportunities for the public to sit with us and ask questions and make comments before it goes to the official meeting on the following Monday.
So
Following Tuesday.
Tuesday rather, yeah.
are you planning to have a full board meeting or just a budget review?
My suggestion would be that, because we've just had this meeting tonight, that we probably don't need to go through the whole process of committee reports and so forth, only being in 1 week, unless somebody feels there is a real agenda item that needs to be addressed. We would do at 6:30 and go through the budget and entertain any questions, discussion, so forth, and then adjourn. It would be specifically budget related, as obviously the annual meeting will be.
And that's here?
We can do that, should be able to do that in this room, assuming it's available. Yeah, I don't honestly anticipate that for that we're going to have need for the gym or the auditorium. Be good to know ahead of time, but hopefully we will have at least some interested party. It will be warned this week, probably multiple times, and I hope that it will be something that everybody can attend. In terms of questions, how does that fit in the schedule of you being available for that next Monday at 6:30? Because you obviously are the ones that are the closest to your individual budgets and can support decisions that have been made and so forth.
Along the same lines, do you anticipate a board meeting on the 3rd Monday of the month?
No, I think we pretty much, we have in the past and will continue, and I thought we did talk about that we would not have a third, we wouldn't need a third February.
We may have
budget.
talked about it, I'm getting old.
Well, no, I'm getting old, the fact that I didn't clarify more that we have that as part of the process, the public input.
Now, is that public budget meeting something that we could have or perhaps should have had before this meeting?
Not necessarily. Last year we had it in the same time frame. Well, the other thing is that it would have been very hard to have it very much before this meeting because the target has still been moving up until pretty recently.
So the annual meeting is on the 9th?
Is on the 9th, that's correct. That'll be at 7 o'clock and it'll be in the gym, as far as I know, the gym, right? Yes. That's where it's always been. Yep. I guess it will be, and that's another important thing is to, get the word out to their residents and voters in your respective towns to come on down and join the fun on the 9th.
Did we tell Maggie and Judy about the meeting next week, the budget meeting? Because I don't know if they'd want to come to that. I imagine they would.
I did not specifically, because this is the first time this evening that it's been brought up.
Yeah, no, we should make sure.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Okay, did we cover all the administrative reports? I believe we did.
I think so.
So we move on to unfinished business. Act 46 discussion. Is there a update from the committee?
Well, I could say we met Gosh, it's been 2 weeks, because we're
Wow.
meeting again
Yeah,
Wednesday.
not last week, week before last.
Yeah, so it's been almost 2 weeks. We're meeting again this Wednesday. We're still moving forward with things.
Wednesday? I thought it was Thursday.
No, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday in Vernon, isn't it?
It's Wednesday, it's in Vernon, this time at 6 in Vernon. They're hosting, we've been rotating schools all over the district to have the meeting, so this time it's in Vernon. And I think we've been working on the report that we'll have to send to the state eventually and what that's gonna look like, and we've been kind of plugging away at that. And you all, at our last meeting, I showed you, Frank and I kind of showed you a draft of what that report looks like, and I wonder if there's any questions or concerns that have come up. Any of you?
I just would, might be good to clarify the timeline now. It's a little different in terms of the fact that we are past the point of being able to have a vote at individual town meetings. So this would be a accelerated method still, but a later in the spring.
Right, if the committee votes to move with the accelerated merger, we would have to have a special school board meetings sometime later in the spring, because we would not have time to warn it in time for town meeting. But before June, the deadline in June, so sometime April, May-ish, something like that. If was the choice. If that wasn't the choice, if it was to choose to go to conventional merger or one of the other options, then we have a greater time in which to do that. I want to say too that the work that the administration has done and the committee has done in relation to what this merger would look like, even if we choose not to go with the accelerated merger, all that work we would have to do no matter what the merger looked like, because we have to figure out all those nuts and bolts and pieces anyway. I think there was some people that were concerned that we were wasting our time for something that wasn't going to happen. And in all actuality, all that work will still get used whether we use the conventional merger or a different kind of merger option. It's informing those decisions, so.
It'll be the basis for basically any direction
We go.
that we go, and we will go in some direction before 2019.
Yeah, well, 2017 really, yeah.
Well, yeah, but for the...
Sean had something else. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, one of the things I learned was that the Articles of Agreement is what the study committee has been working on. And so once the Articles of Agreement have been finalized, if it is voted on to go with the accelerated, then it has to go to the State Board of Ed. And they meet either the second or the third Tuesday in the month. So it would probably be, if it does go up there for February, it would be the 9th or the 13th or something. And then the Board of Ed peruses that for 4 to 5 weeks, and then it is returned to the district. So, it's looking pretty dubious that it'll come to a vote this year, which is kind of a disappointment for me, but the timeline is just extremely tight.
Yeah, it is.
And if, when this was first brought up last spring, I at this board meeting, I said, I asked, what is the timeline of the central office? And I was told that it would be voted on at town meeting this year. And obviously that's water well over the dams. It definitely can't happen. So because of all the time constraints, it's, things are moving very slowly in my opinion.
Well, the state board did approve 4 proposals at their last meeting, and but it is true that it's not an instantaneous. You send it up there and you get an answer.
Yeah,
back
they don't
quickly.
approve it until they've had that 4 or 5 weeks to look over. So I got that from Nicole Mace at the Vermont School Board Association. So it's a long process. And
well, it's a huge amount of work.
In order to, it's like building a house. If you want to get it done, you got to do it every day. So.
and not go skiing in Mount Snow.
Does that 10 cents go away after the first year?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that
but they
represents-
make it impossible to get it in the first year.
Well, no, I think that if there was an aggressive attitude at this point, and
You pointing fingers at the Act 46 committee, John?
Well, it's a little inaccurate, the 10 cents doesn't go away, it drops down to 8 cents.
Right, but I wonder if they knew that it could be done in one.
Well,
it's one-third of the potential savings for the taxpayers in the district will go away if it's not voted on this year.
yeah. Well, it's complicated, and ours might be a little simpler than some of the plans that particularly smaller schools are wrestling with, but it's still complicated, and many of the proposals that have been in to this, as I understand, to the school board so far have been somewhat straightforward, but they get more and more complicated. So it is going to be tight, but it's moving forward, and they're having meetings on a regular basis, and these are meaty. I attended one. They're not fluff meetings. There's a lot goes on in a 3-hour piece of time.
Well, and I think too that, I think that before this process started for me, I would have said, oh, this is going to be a quick process for us as a district, because.
And you did.
And I did say that. And as I learned more specifically about the outlying towns, not having a lot of experience with Dummerston or Putney or Vernon or Guilford, learning more about what's going on there and what happens there, I realized how much more complicated the process is based on that. So
I think the problem, yes, it's our pace to some extent, but we started too late. We need, this process needed to start a while back, and it didn't.
Yeah.
By the time we got involved and started this, this committee started, and it's
it's too late.
But we're still working on it, and we'll have another meeting on Wednesday.
And it wasn't that awfully long ago, a matter of months, but that awfully long ago that the actual legislation was passed. So it's not like there's been 2 years to start working on it.
Exactly. And they're still amending, which is great.
Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah.
Okay, now we come to policy review and revisions, and this is the policies that have been in the hopper here for quite
we've
some
talked about
time
these
and
several
ready to go.
times.
Yeah.
We amended 2 of them, so we'll call for the vote accordingly. So I move that we adopt policy F1, student conduct and discipline as amended.
Second.
Second, okay. Any last shots at that one? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? None?
I'll abstain
Okay.
for all of them.
Okay, it passes.
I move we adopt policy F8, student medication as amended.
Second.
Is that Jane? Okay. Any last shots at that one? If not, all in favor of approving F8 student medication, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Abstaining, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I move we adopt policy F9, student alcohol and drugs as written.
Second.
Okay, second by Ricky. Any last comments on that? If not, all in favor of approving F9, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed or abstentions? Okay.
I move we adopt policy H4, distribution of non-school sponsored literature in schools as written.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Ruth. Any comments, last comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't vote. I'm not
Aye,
voting
aye.
now. Aye.
And abstention? Yeah, okay.
And finally, I move we adopt policy LBP3, directory information / military recruitment as written.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Ricky. Any other last comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? We got this routine down pretty well now, haven't we? Okay, thank you, and I assume that, that the policy committee will be in touch with Barb in terms of, yeah.
Next group,
Yeah, and, the next group that are coming cycling through here for them to chew on. Okay, is there any other unfinished business? No?
We're on to new business.
We are. Is there any new business?
We adjourn.
Oh, I thought you had some new business, okay.
That is new business every time.
This is new every time. Okay, there is a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You don't want to abstain on that one, do you?
I'll vote for that.
Okay, thank you all very much.